but he doesn't go after him right away. He waits for the right time. He's so patient.
Right.
Like when you watch the rounds of his fights, he's like at a world champions that are competing today at the highest level. He probably has the lowest count in the early rounds.
Yeah.
Because you just wait, but he also knows he's got that nuclear option that if he can crack you, most likely he's going to take you out. He's got massive confidence in that.
Right back on. Body. Touch the body. Still hard to the body. Hard to the body.
A little bit of weight. I think Gervonta will beat him, honestly. I think Gervonta will hurt him. I think he'll just use IQ. He'll tire him out a little bit. And, you know, I think
Joe Rogan was left stunned after hearing that Gervonta Tank Davis had knocked out a heavyweight during sparring. Rogan praised Davis for his explosive power and the fearless precision with which he dismantles opponents right in front of him. He described Tank as a fighter who brings raw danger and electrifying intensity to every bout, a man capable of ending a fight in the blink of an eye.
Going to be able to figure that out, or whether or not he's just going to keep cracking people.
Yeah.
You know, so it's part of the fun of watching it. I've talked to a lot of like real purists. It's like you can't rely on that style.
Right.
He's got to be busier. When he gets to the best guys, it's not going to work out. Like, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Inside the gym, witnesses describe a version of Gervonta Tank Davis that's even more lethal and fearsome than the one fans see under the bright lights. Heavyweights step up, believing their size and strength can test him, only to be shocked and dismantled by his blistering speed and devastating power. Those who've watched him train say even the biggest men are
Body. Touch the body. Still hard to the body. Hard to the body. Thirty seconds.
A former sparring partner of Jake Paul has delivered a blunt and unfiltered warning, claiming that Gervonta Tank Davis hits with a level of raw, destructive power Jake has never encountered. He explained that while Jake's confidence stems from knocking out former MMA fighters and aging boxers, that self-belief will mean nothing against a predator like Davis. According to him, when Gervonta lands, he doesn't just score points, he inflicts damage, leaving opponents shaken and broken. The ex-partner emphasized that Jake will soon realize he's stepped into a realm
like every single time, you know, people said that Jake would get finished or he would lose a fight. He obviously proved everybody wrong, but I genuinely believe this time, I think that, you know, with Gervonta's boxing IQ and him having Jake come down a little bit in weight, I think he'll beat him, honestly. I think Gervonta will hurt him. I think he'll just use IQ. He'll tire him out a little bit. And, you know, I think he'll land. You know, Gervonta knows how to touch his opponents. But it's interesting because when Floyd fought Logan, the size really made a big, you know, impact. And you saw Floyd struggle, you know, against a big, you know, Ohio corn-fed, you know, wrestling strong dude. And, you know, I've sparred Jake and Logan before, and, you know, they train hard.
You're picking Tank by knockout?
Look, I sparred them years ago. They're much better than when I sparred them. They're athletes. You know, they train really hard. I think they work harder than...
Joe Rogan openly acknowledges that Jake Paul has brought fresh energy and younger audiences into boxing, generating a level of hype that many traditional promoters could never achieve. Yet, Rogan questions whether Jake is truly ready to face a prime, elite fighter like Gervonta Tank Davis. The truth, Rogan notes, is that Jake's biggest victories have come against men who were retired, past their peak, or crossing over from other sports, not against an active, battle-hardened boxer. Davis, by contrast, embodies lightning-fast speed, ruthless precision.
It's like, what if Jake Paul knocks one of them out? Like, what if you get a guy that, like, hasn't been tested, and maybe has some promise, and maybe gets wrapped up in the hype, and maybe gets a little nervous, and this is his first chance at a big show, and Jake Paul can crack.
Yeah.
100%. That knockout of Tyron Woodley is legit as fuck. He can crack.
But Eddie's point in that interview, and I think the point that just about every boxing aficionado would say, is that Tyron Woodley
Fight, but it has real consequences. Let him get knocked out by Jake. Let him get embarrassed by him. He can't come back. He'll be made a mockery. He done took a knee, grease in the eye, had a draw with Roach, which everybody thinks Roach was, and then made a mockery of by Jake Paul, a YouTuber. Which is why Gervonta Tank Davis is on Demon Time. See, me being back on my fitness journey, I know how hard that is, especially at his size with how heavy that medicine ball is. Gervonta Tank Davis is going to go hard, pause, on that Jake Paul fight. He has to. While everybody is trying to dismiss that shit, there's a knock bonus and everything. You got Lamont Roach calling these names. Tank Davis shut off his social media. He can't take all negativity, making him worse before the fight. He can't allow y'all to be in his head, which that's what y'all do. The end of Tank. And I don't. I think boxing better with Tank involved. I always say that. If there is boxing is better when there's more talented and
Bruce Carrington emphasizes that crossover clashes like Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis are injecting fresh oxygen and global energy into boxing. While traditional matchups often struggle to captivate mainstream audiences, these high-voltage celebrity showdowns pull in casual viewers, younger fans, and massive social media communities that might never have watched a fight otherwise. Carrington insists that the sport needs more than belts and rankings right now. It needs drama, spectacle, and moments that ignite
It's entertainment, right? But that's what this is. It's sports entertainment. This is what's gonna put butts in the seat, believe it or not. This is what's gonna, bring a lot of money to the sport. Especially, we have people trying to say boxing is dead, boxing is dying. But, we have a whole demographic of people that don't even watch boxing, interested in boxing. So I like to look at it that way. Like we're making matchups come to life with Floyd and Tyson, And to be honest, I'm a little biased. Floyd, he is my favorite fighter of all time. And Tyson, he basically made me fall in love with boxing. And he's like the icon, the myth, the legend for me. So it was like them two fighting. It's like, yo, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, and then on top of that, it's an exhibition, bro. It's not something to be taken serious. It's something that for the people to just enjoy and watch. It's an exhibition. It's not like they're making it a sanctioned fight. Now, Jake and Tank, are they making that a sanctioned fight? I think they are.
They're trying to. It's a lot of moving parts right now with that.
Yeah, so I think that's where certain things become an issue, because now you're putting it into a serious space. You know what I'm saying? Which it shouldn't be. It's honestly, if it's sanctioned, how the heck they gonna, I don't know, bro. I don't know how the heck they gonna really pull that off, but I guess, I don't know. But yeah, man, it's kind of certain things, you got to question, but at the end of the day, it is putting more eyes on the game. It's keeping the sport alive. And I feel like Jake, his vision, his views, it's kind of bringing eye-opening. It's kind of eyes. It's funny because I genuinely don't believe.
Concerns have begun to swirl around Gervonta Tank Davis's mental and emotional state as he heads into this highly publicized fight. Legal battles, courtroom distractions, and relentless public criticism have piled heavy pressure onto his shoulders. Davis has made it clear that he craves legacy-defining matchups, fights like a showdown with Vasyl Lomachenko, battles that elevate greatness instead of fueling controversy. When he faced Lamont Roach, he admitted he wasn't mentally locked in, and analysts now warn that lingering frustration and constant scrutiny could strain his focus as he prepares for Jake Paul. Yet, others argue that this same adversity
into the Gervonta Davis-Lamont Roach fight. Gervonta was not actually even interested in fighting Lamont Roach. He was trying to fight Vasily Lomachenko. And Vasily Lomachenko was the guy that was going to really kind of propel him. It was the big fight that he wanted to get. But unfortunately for him, Vasily Lomachenko decided to retire instead of fighting him. So all of the time that it went into negotiating that fight with Vasily Lomachenko, where he really thought that he was going to get, that marquee fight with a fighter, in that division, it goes away, right? So what does he do? He then has to try to make a fight with somebody else. And that somebody else was Lamont Roach, somebody that he knew, somebody that was from the same area that he is, and somebody pretty much he was doing that the PBC was doing a solid for, and saying, okay, man, we don't have an opponent, but this guy has a 130-pound title. He just beat Hector Garcia, the same guy that we beat. So boom, let's make the fight. However, that fight was originally supposed to be in Houston, and it had all kind of problems with the venue, moving the venue from here to there. It was supposed to be on one date, then it gets moved to the next date, right? And so basically it gets delayed and delayed and delayed. He also has issues with a judge over a hit and run case, and he's not allowed to leave Florida. She cites him and drags him into court. He went to DC, or he went somewhere without permission. So now he has another threat over his head about going to jail. Just a lot of stuff on the top of that young man's head in the lead into that.
Recent footage of Shakur Stevenson has ignited intense backlash, showing him tearing into Gervonta Davis's skills and career choices, only to immediately accept a paid sparring opportunity with Jake Paul. Analysts have blasted the move as blatant hypocrisy, noting how Stevenson openly discredits Tank's reputation while still profiting off the spotlight surrounding his name. For a fighter who once claimed Davis was overrated and lacking true technical depth, his sudden eagerness to join the very circus he mocked exposes a glaring contradiction. Critics argue that Stevenson's actions prove how money and exposure can bend conviction, turning bold words into hollow talk overnight. What was once a voice of
to an undercard fighter, and then now, worse than an undercard fighter, you're being brought in for sparring, and you're like, ooh, I get to pick Jake Paul's brain, and you like happy about being a sparring partner. For me, that wouldn't be kosher. If I was Shakur and I am who I say I am, I would be trying to build my brand as big as possible, right? Like if you want to be a big actor, you're gonna get to a where you got to start starring in the movies. You can't just keep doing cameos and showing up for 5 in a movie. You'll never get to Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Will Smith, Denzel Washington. You'll never, if you're not a leading man, you'll never get to where they've been. Leonardo DiCaprio. They don't trust the whole movie, right? So for me, if my goal as an actor was to be a leading man and to be the top build, you got to start working towards that. And if you keep doing favors and other people's projects where you do these little bit roles and extra, you're an extra in somebody else's movie, I feel like that's a conflict of interest because really it's not get you towards your end goal. So that's what I'm looking at. Shakur, the branding stinks. You're literally Jake Paul's sparring partner right now, just because you don't like Tank. So like I said in the last video, the branding sucks.
Not Tank. It's gonna actually bump up Tank. Yeah, these actions, hey, people gonna be supporting Tank on these type of actions. You guys gotta look at the big picture, man. Years ago, man, I had a chance to spar, you know what I'm saying?
Debate is raging across boxing media over the surprising alliance between Jake Paul and Shakur Stevenson, a partnership many view as awkward and contradictory. Stevenson, who once relentlessly criticized Jake's career path and hand-picked opponents, now finds himself working alongside the very man he dismissed. Analysts are comparing the situation to when Jaron Ennis assisted Canelo Alvarez in preparing for Terence Crawford, pointing out how some fighters are willing to bend their principles when the money or spotlight shines bright enough. To many observers, this connection reeks more of business than loyalty, more of strategy than sporting respect.
Stevenson reached out to Jake Paul in support of him preparing for Gervonta Davis. understand what is the difference between Boots Ennis reaching out to Canelo Alvarez in support of his preparation for Terrence Crawford versus Shakur Stevenson reaching out to Jake Paul in preparation for his fight with Gervonta Davis. Tell me what is the... I'll tell you what the difference is. The Ennis family actually had a relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson had no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Bruce, how much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout? I don't want to hear anything about this fight. It's on YouTube, it doesn't matter. No, Shakur Stevenson is an elite level fighter that is going to be a partner to a YouTuber, and he reached out to him directly?
Paulie Malignaggi has shed light on the strategic decision behind the fight's Florida location, calling it a masterstroke in promotional planning. With its electric nightlife, celebrity presence, and media-rich atmosphere, Florida provides the perfect stage to amplify global attention. Malignaggi believes that if Gervonta Tank Davis delivers a devastating knockout against an opponent with Jake Paul's massive online influence, his stardom could erupt beyond boxing's boundaries. A spectacular finish in front of such a broad, diverse audience wouldn't just cement Tank as a fan favorite, it could catapult.
But there's obviously a reason why the networks wanted to make Gervonta Davis a star.
But let's look at it. And Robert, I want to ask you this. When you look at the numbers for Canelo, his fight against Crawford, 41 million viewers. That's what they got. It was the most viewed championship fight of this century. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson got 108 million. It got more than double, significantly more than double. Is it the idea of the streaming services, Netflix, where they're following the numbers, Robert, and that's where the numbers are?
It's what we're coming to, the real fights where they deserve to be seen throughout the world are, it's great. They have good numbers, but you see guys, that are YouTubers, guys that are 60-year-old retired and coming back, and getting 2 times more than what real fight. It's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of embarrassing that we're getting there, that we're in that situation. But I also can't blame them. They're all making a lot of money. That's why Tank is doing it. I think it's ridiculous. It's a joke. But I can't go against that either. He's making a lot of money. Jake doing his thing. Jake Paul is he makes these fights happen and gets the views. So people are tuning in. That's the.
Andy Ross has taken a provocative stance, tipping the scale slightly in favor of Jake Paul. His reasoning hinges on size and physical advantage. Jake is naturally bigger, heavier, and boasts a reach edge that could make it difficult for Tank Davis to close the distance safely. Ross also highlights Jake's unorthodox, unpredictable style, a fighter not molded by decades of traditional boxing patterns, capable of moving in ways opponents rarely anticipate. While he doesn't deny Tank's elite skill and explosive power, Ross argues that Jake's physical tools and confidence could create dangerous, game-changing moments. He warns
Davis. Your thoughts on this?
I have locks with Snaggy right there. I think Jake Paul wins that fight. You're way look. Obviously, Gervonta Davis has way more experience. He's a hell of a fighter. He's done so much more for boxing, and than a lot of people. But to say that, that's not. Everyone's gonna want to watch that fight. I think it's a genius idea. I think Jake Paul sets the craziest expectations, and I think he sets the bar down the boxing world. Jake Paul revived boxing. People could say what they